What if I told you that there is a community out there that is quietly changing the way people build businesses online, and most people have never even heard of it? Not because it's some exclusive secret club, but because the people inside it are too busy actually growing to spend time talking about it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something called the digital growth community, what it is, who it's for, and why it might be exactly what you've been missing in your online business journey. Let's start with a question. Have you ever felt completely alone in your business? Like you're doing all the right things, watching all the videos, taking all the courses, but something still feels off. There's no one in your corner, no one who actually gets what you're going through. You post in a random Facebook group and get crickets, or worse, you get spammy replies from people trying to sell you something. Sound familiar? Well, that's the gap that the digital growth community was built to fill. So who created this? Her name is Michelle O'Neill, and she's the founder of Legacy Builders. Now, if you don't know Michelle, here's what you need to understand. She's not some overnight success story who got lucky and then decided to teach other people how to get lucky too. She is someone who has been in the trenches, who understands what it actually feels like to build something from scratch, and who built Legacy Builders specifically to help others do the same. The digital growth community is her way of bringing that support structure to people who are serious about building something real in the digital space. Now let's talk about what the digital growth community actually is, because the word community gets thrown around a lot online. You've seen it. Every guru with a course slaps the word community on a Facebook group with 3 posts and calls it done. This is not that. The digital growth community is a structured, intentional environment where members get real support, real education, and real connection with other people who are on the same path. It lives inside the larger Legacy Builders ecosystem, which means you're not just joining a random group. You're joining a movement with a purpose, direction, and leadership that actually shows up. Here's where it gets interesting. The digital growth community is specifically designed around growth. Not just any growth, not just vanity metrics, not follower counts that mean nothing. We're talking about tangible, meaningful business growth in the digital world. Whether you're brand new to online business or you've been at it for a while and you've hit a wall, this community meets you where you are. That's a big deal because most online communities are either too basic for experienced people or too advanced for beginners, and you end up feeling like the odd one out either way. Inside the community, members get access to resources, training, and guidance that are actually relevant to where the digital landscape is now. Things move fast online. What worked 2 years ago might be completely irrelevant today. The strategies being taught inside the digital growth community are current, they've been tested, and they're coming from people who are actively in the game. You're not learning from someone who figured out something 5 years ago and has been coasting on that knowledge ever since. You are learning from people who are building and iterating right alongside you. Let's pause here for a second because I want to make sure something lands properly. A lot of people underestimate the power of being in the right environment. Think about this. You become like the people you spend the most time with. And that's not just some motivational post or quote. That's actually how human psychology works. And so when you surround yourself with people who are serious about growth, who hold themselves accountable, who share their wins and lessons openly, that energy is contagious. The digital growth community is engineered to create that environment deliberately. Michelle O'Neill and the Legacy Builders team didn't stumble into this. They built it with intention. Now, I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough when people evaluate online communities, and that is the culture. You can have all the content in the world, all the trainings, all the PDFs, all the master classes. But if the culture inside a community is toxic, competitive in the wrong ways, or just plain cold, none of that stuff matters. People don't engage, they don't show up, and they definitely don't grow. The culture inside of the digital growth community is one of genuine support. Members are encouraged to share what's working, ask questions without judgment, and celebrate each other's progress. When was the last time you were in an online space where that actually felt true rather than just a rule that someone typed up and nobody follows? Here's another layer. Being part of the Legacy Builders through the digital growth community isn't just about learning tactics. It's about building a legacy. That word legacy is in the name for a reason. Michelle O'Neill built this with a long game vision. This isn't about making a quick buck or gaming an algorithm for 30 days until it changes again. This is about building something sustainable, something that creates real impact, real income, and real freedom over time. If that resonates with you, if you're tired of chasing the next shiny object and you want to actually build something that lasts, then the philosophy driving this community is going to feel like a breath of fresh air. Let's get into who this is actually for, because not every community is for every person, and that's okay. The digital growth community is for people who are serious about growing in the digital space. Entrepreneurs, coaches, content creators, network marketers, service providers, anyone who wants to build or scale an online presence and income can be there. It's for people who are coachable, who are willing to put in the work, and who understand that results don't come from just consuming content, but actually from implementing it. If you're looking for a community where you can just lurk and somehow absorb success by osmosis, then this probably isn't your spot. But if you're ready to engage, learn, and take action, the digital growth community will absolutely meet you with everything you need. Something else worth highlighting is the leadership. Michelle O'Neill is not an absentee founder. This isn't one of those situations where someone builds a community, launches it with a bang, and then disappears to go do something else while a couple of moderators try to keep the lights on. Michelle is very involved. The Legacy Builders brand is built on showing up, and that ethos flows directly into the digital growth community. Where leadership actually leads, it sets the tone for everyone else. Members see it, they feel it, and they rise to match it. Think about the last time you invested in something for your business. Maybe it was a course, maybe it was a coaching program, and maybe it was some software tool. Now think about whether you got support after the sale, whether someone actually helped you to implement, whether there was a community of people going through the same thing who could answer your questions at 11 at night when you're stuck and your coach isn't available. That's what ongoing community membership provides that one-time purchases simply cannot. And that's exactly what the digital growth community is designed to be, a place where the support doesn't stop when the transaction ends. We're living in a time where digital business has never been more accessible, but it's also never been more crowded or more confusing. There are more tools, more platforms, more strategies, and more so-called gurus than ever before. In that kind of environment, community becomes a filter. Being around the right people helps you cut through the noise, focus on what actually matters, and avoid the expensive mistakes that come from flying solo without any real guidance. So here is the bottom line. The digital growth community created by Michelle O'Neill as part of Legacy Builders is a real, intentional, culture-forward community built for people who want to grow their digital business in a meaningful way. It's not a Facebook group with crickets. It's not a ghost town with outdated content. It's a living, breathing space where serious people come to learn, connect, support each other, and build legacies that last. If anything I've shared today has sparked something in you, if you've been nodding along because you recognize the gap this community fills, then I want to encourage you to take the next step. Look into Legacy Builders, look into the digital growth community, and see if it's the right fit for where you are and where you want to go. Sometimes the thing that changes everything isn't a new strategy or a new tool. Sometimes it is finally finding your people. And if this video gave you value, do me a favor, drop a comment below, tell me what part resonated the most with you, and be sure and check the description to learn more about the digital growth community and Legacy Builders. Share this with someone who's been grinding alone in their business and could use a little reminder that they don't have to do it by themselves.